Dear Mehrdad, congratulations on the international success of the film Achilles, from the Toronto International Film Festival to San Sebastian to Hamburg and Rome, where the film won an award. You wrote the music for Achilles, the stories of two fugitives in contemporary Iran who go on a road trip across the country where they encounter the painful marks a corrupt regime leaves on its citizens. How did you, an Iranian-born composer in Toronto, and Farhad Delaram, the film's Iranian director living in Berlin, connect and then work together on the film across the Atlantic?
So I'm a friend of Farhad. We know each other for more than 10 years. And we know each other through a mutual friend. His name is Sasan, and he's the editor of the movie. So we knew each other back then in Iran, but it was only after the pandemic that we started working together. And I was in Toronto, he was in Berlin, and the editor was in Iran. All of us were in lockdowns. And Farhad had this idea to work on a short experimental film. So he took the shots himself in Berlin and sent it back to Iran. The editor did the rough cut and sent it back to me. And without exchanging any words, I was just started working on the music, and that was it. So we thought that, yeah, we worked together, and it actually, we enjoyed the collaboration. It was very strange not to exchange any word and do a whole project. So we thought we can work again together. And Achilles was the third project we did together. And it was a different kind of challenge. So it's a different than a like experimental short movie, a feature movie, but we enjoyed it a lot. And we're definitely going to work together again. And I was really happy that the movie got the attention, because it was kind of a personal project, both for Farhad and for me, because it's our story, it's the story of our generation. And you pour yourself into a project, and when you see that it gets the attention and it's noticed, it's a reward. It's something that we look forward to.
As you just mentioned, both Farhad and you are artists living and working in exile on different continents now. What does being part of a global Iranian cultural diaspora that seems very strong right now mean for you as an artist?
Well, to answer that, I have to say that being Iranian and being in exile, it's kind of, there's a bond between Iranian, and the bond is, unfortunately, is through the trauma and the traumatic experience we've been through. So when we talk together, when we start working on something, we don't talk much about those traumas, but it's there. We know that the other person have that experience. So when we start working on something and we're away from Iran, there's always this context of Iran in the background, and we know all about that. And Achilles was the same. So when you immigrate, you have all those like challenges of immigration, but as an artist, it's kind of, the main challenge is that you have your own mindset and you're in a different cultural sphere, but you have to decide what part of yourself you want to share, because you, as an artist, you want to connect to your audience. And that's the challenge, I think, for me. But here in Toronto, I had a really good experience. I can say that Toronto is a multicultural city, so it's kind of different from like being in, perhaps Farhad has a different challenge in Berlin, but here in Toronto, I see that people are very open to like ideas from different culture, and it's very common for people from different culture to share their own like artistic views and everything.
Coming back to your actual art and the fact that you compose for different media, what's the biggest difference between composing for film and composing for live presentation, like your latest piece, Toccata, for piano and violin, touring Canadian concert halls right now?
Yeah, so it's a tricky question. I can say that it's very much different in terms of when you start composing for an ensemble or for concert music. It's usually you start from nothing, and it's like a blank page, and you're with your own ideas, and you have to craft something out of nothing. You only have the instrumentation. That's the the only limit you have. But when you're working on a movie, at least you have the rhythm and you have the visuals and the emotion. You cannot go too far from that, and the music has to be in the background. It's reflecting the emotion that you see in the picture. But I find that there are different challenges. Sometimes I really like to limit myself when I'm writing for an ensemble, and but the challenge for scoring for a movie is that you have to make something. It has to be a composition, but you also have to work with the movie. So I switch between these two, and I learn from both. And there's something from film scoring in my composition as a concert music composer, and there's something from my concert music in my composition. And I really enjoy this both worlds. So there's different nature in collaboration, but I always want to keep it for myself to work with directors, and I learn a lot from them. I really enjoy it.
Well, I'm already looking forward to your next collaboration with Farhad Delaram that you mentioned might be in the future. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you.